Is it overwhelming? I think there's a lot of data that's like very overwhelming, and hopefully we demystify some of this information. Because I myself, when I signed up a week ago, thinking that, oh, I'll just put together some things to talk about generative AI, but it was there's a lot more. I would say misinformation. A lot of companies talking about things, but not a lot of relevant, impactful data. So it was just hard to dig through the mess to get into the meat of what is important. So my focus is more about elevating productivity, empowering minds, and not replacing people. I said jobs earlier, but I think that it's important to emphasize on the people element, because AI is the human productivity multiplier. So they're not replacing humans. But welcome to the IBC webinar. So I want to thank you for taking your time out of your busy schedule to join me. We already established that people are from California, Michigan, and India. So, this is a very interesting topic to me. So I want to know what kind of tool, AI tool are you using in your current job or just personally? Personally, I'm using ChatGPT 4.0. What else are you using? If you don't mind sharing, who wants to go first?
Gemini?
Yeah. Oh, you Gemini? Okay.
No, I have had experience with several Gen AIs basically,
Mm-hmm.
but from public perspective, because today's topic is people oriented. So
Mm-hmm.
public perspective, their fears and their fear of losing jobs. I was hoping that you address those
Yes,
concerns.
definitely. So, what other AI tools are you using? Gladron, what are you using?
Well, mainly we use the enterprise version of ChatGPT, and you know what? In IBC, to be very frank, we consider AI as one of our employee. You know what? Yeah. So that's happening all over the world, and if we are not embracing AI, obviously, we'll just be wiped out in the tide. So ChatGPT, to be frank, and some co-pilots, and Meta, Llama, all these things. That's it, pretty much.
Okay. Anybody else want to share? Okay. All right. So a little about me. Who am I to speak to you? I'm an independent consultant. My background's been healthcare, telecom, retail, beverage. If you're IT consultant based out of Atlanta, you have to work for Coke, right? Or Delta or Home Depot, right? Right, Jericho? So
Yep.
those are the companies to kind of like have on your resume. So now with AI, with prevalence of AI, I find myself curious. Do you find yourself curious? A lot of people are fearful, but I found myself curious because I've been in IT for 25 years. Not much scares me because I've been through a whole lot. I've started when there was a dial up from AOL, getting on the internet and all that stuff. So, I'm dating myself. Yes, I know that. But, I've seen a lot. So this is not something I take as, oh, I'm going to be scared and just not do anything. Just like Gladron said, I want to kind of not only embrace it, but kind of learn about it. I'm a lifelong learner. So I want to share what I've learned about it and through like a week of research. And I'm actually citing ChatGPT 4.0 as my source because that's what I've been doing a lot for the last week. And I'm committed to learning AI and I'm committing to learning, with you and sharing with leaders and future leaders like yourself. Okay, let's get into the agenda. And you can see my screen, right? I mean, I'm not just going on a blank screen. Yes, good. Yes, okay, thank you. So I kind of want to go into a little bit about the current landscape. elevating productivity and revenue because it's all about money, 3 case studies in 3 industries, because I'm not going to focus on everything. Otherwise, this is too generic of a topic. And, this webinar is just like, talking in generalities. We don't want to do that, right? And so we're going to 3 case studies talking about enhancing human capabilities, key decision-making, upskilling, and learning. And then we'll kind of close up and give resources. Any questions before we get started? No? Good. All right, so there's some misconceptions. Like Gen AI makes good key decisions. No. Gen AI does all the important work. Nope. Gen AI only enhances machine learning. Nope. Nope. And when I started in this presentation, I kind of went like, oh, fears and, AI is going to take over the world. I'm like, you know what? That's all very dystopic. It's all science, science fiction. I kind of want to stay more grounded and level. So, although this is not exciting as Terminator is going to take over with Skynet, I kind of want to go through some hypothesis and kind of come back around and say, hey, I don't think they do good. I don't think they make good key decisions. They don't do all the important work. So I don't think they're going to take over the world, at least not yet. So let's start with the global impact. In the area of advanced analytics, traditional machine learning, it can increase productivity 15 to 40% and 13.6 to 22.1 trillion. That's really good. That's really good. That's what we've been. But the impact of AI worker, productivity enabled by generative AI is even better, right? 34 to 70% and 17.1 to 25.6 trillion dollars. And I got my information from McKinsey & Co. So I know at least there's some research behind it. So, I didn't just get it from some website, hopefully, Any questions? Nope. Okay. So yes, we're going to continue to talk about numbers. I know it's a little boring, but it's kind of important to the leaders, right? To our CEOs, CIOs, CTOs. But you see that the first 3 industries are the most impacted by Gen AI, right? So the high tech, especially 4.8 to 9.3, banking 2.8 to 4.7, pharmaceutical and medical products. And the revenue generated is 240 to 460, 200 to 340, and 80 to 110. I know numbers are boring. They used to be boring to me. However, I think these are important to call out because they make a huge difference in the way that the companies are chartering their next roadmap, right? You gotta have to be AI ready. And the 3 asterisks on the top 3 is the case studies that I'm going to focus on. So that's why I'm going to highlight it. I'm not going to go through the entire list. Otherwise, this webinar will be 2 or 3 hours long. Any questions? Oh, go ahead, Chanda.
I have a question. The biggest concern about Gen AI is like, what are the sources all this data is getting derived? So
right.
I was wondering how you address that one.
I will let the data scientists address that. Yes, there's concerns about where the data comes from. There actually are software, this enterprise software that only gives the user suggestions from the company's data. So if you're talking about a work perspective, there are tools that help you generate only relevant data to that company. Or, if it's like public, I wouldn't use ChatGPT as the only source of data because I did a little bit of both. I did just web search and make sure that they're real data. ChatGPT tends to hallucinate, so I bet it's probably getting better, but I'll let the data scientists tell me, because they're in and day out. But you definitely want to do a little bit of fact checking.
Yeah, that's where human power comes in, right?
Yes,
So
yes, I agree. Okay, so I want to get to the productivity by task. And then I love this slide because, and I got it from Work Era, which is, a company's, well, but I think I can actually glean some information from it, even though it's not, they done some studies but they're probably a little bit biased. So we take that in consideration, but I think it makes sense, right? The language translation, I don't know what languages, but it could be, foreign languages, to English. The manually, it takes like 3.1, right? And then automated 6.8. So these are days. And, no, actually hours, hours, 3.1, and then wait a minute, I think I got it mixed up.
I think you had it backwards, yeah.
I had it backwards. I apologize. My brain was like, I've been like knee deep in PowerPoint for like however, probably should have fact checked it too. So it's the opposite. Automated 3.1 and then manual put 6.8. So you see how it makes a huge difference. But notice on the very end, the code debugging assistance is not that big of a difference. It's not 4.2 to 5.7. So the biggest difference is the manual, the really tedious tasks, right? Drafting emails, looking at ideas, text analysis, help me with grammar, spell check, and so kind of things. That, does this make sense? And it gives us a lot of good data about kind of the manual tasks that we do help us automate. If AI helps us automate some of those things, we can get into more of the idea generation and code debugging, right? And I apologize that this back up stuff. Thank you for catching that. But I really like this productivity by task, and it kind of speaks volume to what I'm talking about as far as human productivity. Okay, so 3 case studies in 3 industries. Like I said, Gen AI does the mundane work, while humans does the exception handling and reasoning work. Okay, so I'm going to highlight 3 industries: high tech, banking, and pharmaceutical. So this is a very busy slide, but it's okay. I'm giving examples of NVIDIA, giving graphic artists, tools, automation, and it's savings of 30 full-time employees annually and reported ROI 250%. Just allowing the graphic artist to enhance image quality and resolution, right? And then in banking, Gen AI helps financial analysts automate routine and repetitive tasks, allows them to focus on strategic analysis and decision making, right? Banking, definitely. And JP Morgan Chase was on the news recently with their CEO saying that he's willing to take high school, or people even have criminal records, and kind of train them with AI so they can be part of a productive workforce, right? Pharmaceutical, Gen AI health research on promising drug candidates, insights on the promising drug candidates, the effectiveness of drug development and modeling. Huge difference. The banking is 175 full-time employees, it's a savings, and ROI 300%, and pharmaceutical 150 full-time employees and ROI of 400%. That's a lot over 5 years. So do you guys see the benefits? And it's definitely not, AI is not doing the work of humans, it's helping humans. It's helping human productivity. Okay, So the next one is busy too, but you see AI assists with key decision making. Humans are in the driver's seat, right? AI models in Intel really kind of help supply chain scenarios. Hey, which one are disruptions? Which one could be problematic for manufacturing, especially in high tech, and inventory strategies was analyzing real-time actionable insights, reducing the risk of supply chain disruptions. We're already doing some of that in manufacturing, right? And 50 full-time savings of 50 full-time employees and ROI 200. Banking, HBC uses risk management automation. AI helps review these large data sets. And then it's really saving 200 potential savings of 200 full-time employees and ROI of 250% over 4 years. Same thing with pharmaceutical, just all these trial managers, data-driven decisions about design, patent information, patient information, protocols, adjustments. So, high-tech banking, pharmaceutical, they're already reaping the benefits of Gen AI, but it's putting the humans in the driver's seat for those key decision-making. I've been talking, so what do you guys think? Is this, oh, go ahead, Jen.
Basically, I'm trying to connect these case studies basically. So if you can explain what is the logic you have followed here, like I was under impression that you are going to pick high tech first, then banking and then pharma, but it looks like you have a different kind of presentation. Like if you can explain.
Oh, okay.
Going...
Yeah. So what I'm kind of doing is case study 1, examples of enhancing human capabilities. And the next one, case study 2, high-tech banking, pharmaceutical, assisting humans with key decision making. And definitely throwing numbers out there because it's important to the leaders. It's important to future leaders. Even if we don't like to talk about numbers, it's important to talk about the numbers. And then the next one is about upskilling and learning. How Gen AI helps people in high tech, Google, right? Google developers, help them with learning. Bank of America, they have their training programs, that helps customer representatives and financial advisors with questions, training on your, based on what your learning history. And it's not just, how we have universities, career universities, those kind of things, but Gen AI caters to the individual, right? So it can kind of refine training and learning to what the person needs. Because everybody comes from different careers, different experiences. Catering would be really good instead of going from basic from everything. That makes sense? So good. Maybe I should have highlighted that. So yeah. So the first case study about enhancing human capabilities, not replacing them, right? Second one, assist with key decision making. Gen AI takes all the data, allows the human to make decisions, whether it's in high tech, for inventory or to detect fraud, or pharmaceuticals, like which drug to make. And then upskilling and learning. Google uses AI for personal training paths for developers, right? And Bank of America does it already based on their performance data, learning history, and all these savings. Johnson & Johnson allows them training programs with doctors and nurses and sales representatives. It kind of caters to individual needs. And we've seen that it actually saves the company 60 FTEs or 40 FTEs, 70 FTEs, and ROI of 300%, 100%, so many percentage. So, I want to dispel people's fear about AI is taking over my job. Really, AI should be helping you to do your job better. That's why we're going to flip it on its head. Any questions on the 3 case studies? I know I went through a lot.
I just have a comment. Like I hope you can hear me.
Yeah.
When this automation things and then Gen AI kind of like Gen AI is a term that is introduced recently, but I'm talking about the people's fear. Like in the beginning days, like it started with code automations, right? Like Microsoft was one of the pioneers. Then everyone was saying, "Oh, what am I going to write if machine is going to write every code?" But then over time, historically, if you see, it has generated more and more technical workers, more and more work for technical workers, because one thing it does wrong, then like 100 people will have to get together and fix it. So it creates actually one I mean, it is funny
Great
to
more
think
opportunities if
about
you're
it.
ready for it, right?
Yeah.
Taroko!
Yeah, so my question is going to be around those numbers you just shared, so even though there's a fear that AI is taking jobs, but I think it kind of is, because if those companies no longer require or need to hire 40 FTEs or 60 FTEs, isn't it because of AI that they're not doing that? So it's like it's limiting the number of opportunity or positions companies are going to hire for. And at the same time, they might also lay people off that are in those positions, because if I don't need so many people to do all this, to work on my training programs, brochure, or anything of the sort, AI can kind of do half of it or do a portion of it, a big portion of it. That's probably why people are talking about, hey, AI is taking our jobs and stuff again. So it is not too convincing for people to think that AI is not taking my job. It's
Right.
I think
the mundane work. You're talking about if you're doing some things that could be automated, yes, your job could be impacted, right? And I totally get that. But I think that the people who can leverage AI to to automate those manual tasks, they will stay around. So if you can make those key decisions, you can you understand prompt engineering and how to use generative AI, I think you'll be ahead. There's no guarantees in life, right? There's never, trust me, in consulting, there's no guarantees in life. So I think that it's important to arm yourself with the
skill set, like
the
upskill
most
kind of.
updated training, your skills, and if you're not already learning about AI right now, you really need to get on board. Really, yeah. Okay, so definitely companies can lean into AI, increase productivity, and build the bottom line. You need to retain your employees and take advantage both now and in the future. You need to have a strategy and roadmap, right? That spans the core and high level capabilities. We are excited to launch an AI solution sales partnership. So, we're scheduling discovery consultations in August. If you're interested, if you know someone or if you know a leader who could be like, on the fence about AI or want to learn more, definitely contact us. We'll be excited to